Chapter 12, Manhattan, April 1990, morning. The prince of the city is under siege. An army of bankers and investors has Donald Trump surrounded. An unfriendly fire is everywhere. His balance sheet is insane. The Trump Organization has amassed debts totaling $3.4 billion. The real estate mogul, now 43, personally owes about $600 million, guarantees of borrowed money he now cannot repay. We all have slips in life. We all have our moments. In addition, Donald Trump is pursuing an extramarital affair with a woman named Marla Maples, a Georgia model. Just a few weeks ago, Marla was on the cover of People magazine with the blaring headline, Trump Princess. I consider her a Trump princess. The kingdom of Trump is on a cliff, and strong winds are blowing. Throughout the 1980s, Trump put together deal after deal using borrowed bank money and revenue from junk bonds that sometimes paid 14% interest to those investors who purchased them. Donald ran wild with the cash, buying a football team, an airline, the legendary Plaza Hotel, and 3 Atlantic City casinos, among other things. He couldn't possibly micromanage all the projects, so he had to delegate. Obviously, that became a problem, one his father had warned him about. I guess maybe I should have listened. Donald Trump became the quintessential real estate gambler who didn't know when to fold them because he didn't even know how the cards were being dealt in some key parts of his empire. The casinos killed him. In October 1987, the stock market crashed, leading to a national recession. As Ronald Reagan was preparing to vacate the White House, the go-go 80s suddenly became somber, and many high rollers disappeared from the Trump Castle and the Trump Plaza in Atlantic City. The $1 billion Taj Mahal casino was just getting started and needed to gross approximately $1.3 million a day in order to simply break even. Trump carried enormous debt on all his gambling properties. Eventually, he could not make the interest payments to the banks and bondholders who had financed him. Challenging times. Challenging times indeed. Lawyers descended. Chase Manhattan, Bear Stearns, Citibank, and dozens of other creditors lined up demanding payment from the prince, or else. But Donald Trump didn't buckle. He did what he always did. He made deals. You cannot intimidate me. His 282-foot yacht went first, then the Trump Shuttle, which had actually increased market share 20% from when Eastern Airlines owned it. The private jet was also sold, yet billions were still owed by the Trump Organization. Then Trump pulled off the biggest coup of his life until he won the presidential election of 2016. He convinced the banks to lend him even more money to pay off what he owed. It was beyond audacious. But it worked. The Trump pitch was a thing of ruthless simplicity, which I will paraphrase. We have 2 choices. First, you can lend me more money so I can pay my debts and continue operating, eventually becoming profitable again. Or 2, I can declare total bankruptcy, and nobody will get anything. Donald Trump got more money. I told you it would work! A bevy of financial organizations bailed him out, suspending interest payments on a third of his bank debt and giving him tens of millions of dollars to spend going forward. Trump gave up his interest in the Grand Hyatt Hotel and restructured his casino debt. The deals were a stunning save that few others could have pulled off. In the process, thousands of junk bondholders lost their money as Trump declared limited bankruptcy on selected businesses 6 separate times. It was a giant mess that few totally understand even to this day. But one thing was clear. Donald Trump remained a master negotiator. You can't beat me! He kept control of Trump Tower, Mar-a-Lago, and portions of the New Jersey casinos where business was picking up. He used the bankruptcy laws to save himself, and it worked. Through cooperation rather than conflict, everybody has come out much better, Trump told the press. There was some dissent following that comment, but not from most Trump employees. They were still working. The time that Donald Trump bought with other people's money paid off fairly quickly. The 1990s saw the U.S. economy come roaring back under the pro-business policies of President Bill Clinton. New York City real estate rose steadily in value. High-end apartments were rented for record amounts. Business travel to the city picked up, and the slot machine people had some cash to burn. Slowly, the Trump organization became profitable again. I told you it would work, and it did work. But Donald Trump had changed. No longer was he the brazen gambler who sneered at risk. Cool on the outside, but shaken on the inside, he decided that marketing was the key to enduring success. It is. He would aggressively publicize his brand, and others would pay to be in business with him. For example, a hotel company would compensate Trump millions simply for putting his name on a building. Eventually, he would be paid for clothing bearing his name, cologne, sunblock, cufflinks, and on and on. The Trump brand was everywhere. I am so famous. And the more famous his name became, the more money he'd receive for essentially doing nothing. Donald would soon open Trump golf clubs with enormous membership fees. He turned his mansion, Mar-a-Lago, into a business. He got paid for all kinds of ventures, while silent investors shouldered the risk. Down the road, the Trump organization would start buying properties outright again. But as he emerged from the grueling financial negotiations that took more than 2 years, Donald was looking to become more powerful through fame, not finance. He wanted to become a big star beyond the business world. And he thought a young woman from rural Georgia just might help with that. And I love her for that.